Hey guys, welcome back. We're gonna get back in on the Charger. We're gonna be waiting on a few parts that I forgot for some front ends, for the front end bushing. So we're gonna jump back on the car. We're gonna put all the sheet metal back on to include the fenders, the hood, and the deck lid. So hope you guys stay tuned. We're just gonna drop 2 pictures of where this car has come from, and I hope you guys stay tuned and keep up on the progress. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to check out the earlier parts to this car and how the work that we have done and where we're at right now. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Guys, welcome back. Obviously, it's another weekend. I think this is actually a Friday. I took a day off work. We're gonna throw together the car. So we're gonna get the fenders on, the hood on, the deck lid on, and we're actually gonna screw in a few things that I've kind of left. I just haven't messed with them. So what we're gonna really do is just kind of throw the car back together. We're gonna put you guys just on a quick fast forward loop for that, just so we're not taking all day. We're going to vacuum out the car. We're going to clean out the car. We're just going to make a nice little template of what we need to work on, and we're going to start working from there. Hope you guys stay tuned. We got a lot of progress to make, so let's get to it. Alright guys, welcome back. So we have the front end of the car on. Got our, oh god, I'm having a terrible day. Our hood hinges on. We have pretty decent gaps. It could come up a little right here. So I hit pretty good right here, real good right there. This needs to come up a little, but honestly the door's good, so I don't know how we're going to go about that. Got a decent gap right there. Lines up with the rocker pretty well right there on the bottom. So I don't know if anyone knows this about the Dodges, but right here on the door when you're putting your hood hinges, roughly that needs to line up. So the hood and that rocker, sorry, the door and that rocker need to kind of make that section right there and it comes up. On this side, we are having a little bit of trouble with some gaps. I am realizing from this car, the whole front end was cut off probably about right here, and then the back end was cut off. This car was obviously in a pretty decent wreck. So putting on the hood hinges, it had an issue where the bolt holes wouldn't line up, and honestly, they're made to fit right there. We got them to fit. We had to stick a little pry bar in there, just, move it, walk it a little bit over, and it bolted up right just fine. Now it's both sides. That front one, so let me go into this detail a little bit. It's an actual solid mounting bolt. So it's rough style start, and then it's got those other push one in the front. So all I did really was push the front one in a little, and it bolted right up. Same with this one. This one had an issue, but obviously we have a bad, relatively big gap. I can get my whole finger in there. We want to fix this before we get to too much bodywork, paintwork. So we're going to figure this out by putting the hood on. Now, we don't have a terrible gap here. It's a little bigger than the driver's side, right around the section here. So we'll have to figure that part out a little bit, but it's honestly not that bad. Back here, we're a little tight only at the top. Right here, it's kind of touching, but right here, we're really good. And one of the best things about this side, just beautiful door close. This side has been my problem child since I have started this car. Just hands down, the passenger side has been nothing but welding, bodywork. It's just the side that has fought me the whole way. The one thing I am pretty sad about, though, is the driver's side was always the good side. It had a good closing door. It had everything perfectly done. Now the door doesn't like to close. So obviously I'm sagging a little bit. if you lift up on it, it closes. So we're going to readjust that as well. But what we're going to do on the hood, we're going to jump on it real quick. Now, one thing you want to do with these old cars is these little thread saver bits. All we have is a coarse thread 5/16. And all we're going to do is right where it bolts into the hood, going to place it in there. We're going to run it through all the threads. Now, a big thing with the ones I have that I have noticed, if you go too far in, the shank will get stuck. So don't go the full way in. And by full way in, what I mean is you're shoving it all the way through the threads and it's coming out the other end on this. You're going to get it stuck, then you're going to have some very big issues, just like I did when you're replacing it then. But we're going to catch you guys back when we're bringing the hood on. We're going to bring you back for a time warp. I'm just going to thread and chase all these, and then we'll be back for that, putting the hood on. Hey everybody, quite the epic fail with the hood, huh? So the issue we ran into is we cleaned everything, but we still broke off a bolt. Lucky for me, it's a grade 8. So I really had it wedged in there, I really had an issue. Now what we're gonna do, I don't know if it's the best idea, we're gonna cut in here, cut the whole thing out, take the whole piece out. Already tried to put an easy out in there and try to twist it out, but it's not coming. It's really stuck in there, so cross threads, I guess, are better than no threads. Too bad it broke. So let's get to it. There's nothing else to do but cut it out and re-weld it in and mess with it. So let's get to it. Hope you guys stay tuned for the fix. Hi, quick update. For that one bolt, we cut out the entire pillar section of where it bolts to. Now from there, we ended up having to actually take off the weird stud. It's a square. All I did was weld in a circular one, and I put some lines of center to keep the distance on them. Turns out, I don't think it was me, but it was also bent, kind of cockeyed, like it's supposed to be straight, and it was kind of dipped at the one end. So I think that's why I was really having trouble getting the bolt in, because I couldn't even see the hole, and it kept just kind of meshing in. But we've got weld through primer. What we're going to do, this is just spot welded to right there on the top part. So let me just show you. So this is the section I cut on the other one. Now these are the two spot welds up there that hold that section in. I'm just going to add a few more throughout it, and probably some of the other face of it, just so it stays. And then that little bar, the T-bone bar, just slides in that little pocket in there, and then because of the width of the T-bone, that's how it stays in there. So kind of a cool design, kind of a cheap design. But let's get back to letting that dry, and then we're going to come back, we're going to have it welded back in place, and then we're going to try to re-put the hood in. So you guys stay tuned to see if we have another epic failure and terrible time doing it. Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to jump into working on the front end again. Now the front end's painted. Beginning of this episode it wasn't. We took a little filler to fill it, make it painted, get it all perfect. We just wanted it primed. Something so it just takes away from what it was looking like. But what we're going to tackle is, we found an issue with the torsion bar. Now, that's probably a candidate for getting replaced. But right now I don't really have the funds to be doing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to plate it. We're going to push it up into place, get it, where it needs to be. We're going to look at the other one, make sure our jack stands are in a decent place where they're kind of leveling the car out. Maybe take a few minutes to level the car out. And then we're going to put a jack stand right underneath that little torsion bar where it's cut. I'm guessing it got stuck and they just wanted to cut it out, and then they eventually got it because it was like under tension. And then when they cut it, it came out of tension, and that's how it came out. But what we're going to do is stick a jack right underneath it, jack it up, get it held in place, maybe tack it a few times there, and then we're going to get a nice piece of steel, maybe 1/4 inch or a little less, cut around the half circle there, make it long enough so it goes on either direction, try not to cover up that hole, and then weld that whole plate around it as well. I gusset a few things on bottom too. It's going to look probably a little tacky, but it's what we're going to do because it's what we have the budget for right now. Eventually, probably will get replaced, because honestly, the floor will probably get replaced a little bit farther down the road when the car's an actual runner, roller, all that kind of stuff. But right now, we just don't have it, so we're going to fix it to the best of our ability, which we're going to do. So let's get back to work, you guys. I'm going to take a few minutes brushing off all the sand and doing some cleaning real quick, and then we're going to come back, show you guys what we're doing. We'll probably have the plate made up and we'll weld it into place, and you guys can follow along for that. So let's get back to work. Hey guys, we're back with a little update. I've decided, instead of welding that torsion bar cross member right now, I kind of just tacked it on the bottom, because you can line the bottom up where it was cut. It's still pretty flat and straight. We're going to bring the K-member up into the car, because with the K-member in, we'll know exactly where it's supposed to go. And I'm eyeballing, and it's just got me worried that we're going to mess up a little. So what we're going to do is bring the K-member in here. Give me a few minutes. We're going to figure out a way to do that without scratching it all up. We're going to bolt on some of the front suspension. It's not permanent, but it's going to be bolted on. So what I've got to do before all that is I'm going to clean every bolt. I'm going to wire wheel it, and I'm going to look at them, make sure they're fine. Thread chase most or all of them. And then we're going to come back to you guys with when we get on this, and we're going to just stick the whole suspension in on the front, and then check that torsion bar cross member, and maybe I can tack it, and then we can remove it and then weld it up for good. But a big thing on this car is, if you have the parts to make the fitment seem right, do it. So I have the cross, I have the torsion bars, I have the whole front suspension all done. We're going to stick it on the car, and then we're going to see how it does and how it is. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to have you on a fast forward for a lot of K-member. Actually, I think we might just bring you guys along and talk about it as we go. But let's get the K-member out, let's get the bolts cleaned, and we'll come back when we're ready to do that, and you guys can follow along. So stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back. We have a huge step in this car. Since I've owned it, I've never seen suspension on it other than the rear end and the frame rails pushing it, through the trunk floor. So we got the front on. K-member, we got the torsion bars. Now if you guys remember, we need to fix this passenger side torsion bar. And I'm going to fix it. It's going to be a fix. It's going to be a fix. This is what I came up with. So I went underneath the car and just kind of traced out a template with a ruler. Now we're going to cut it out of this thicker steel. This is same stuff for the frame rails. I don't remember how thick it is, but it's thick enough where we can use the 220, really get some penetration on this thing. So that's what we're going to do. But what we're going to do real quick is we're going to trace this out and see how we do. Just going to bring you guys along for a time lapse on cutting it out, tracing it, just so you guys can kind of see what we're doing. Honestly, all I did was lay underneath the car on a creeper with a ruler, a pencil, and a piece of manila folder, and I ruled it out, measured it out, drew it on the manila folder upside down using the firewall, and then just cut it out with a scissor, and then held it up and trimmed it for fine fit. That's all we did. So let's get to it. Let's see how this looks. We're back. I don't know where I put the patch, but we got it cut out, got it made. Right down there on the ground. We're gonna jump on getting that welded in. So let's just get under. Let's get it done. We'll bring you guys with for a little bit of a time warp. So we'll get down there. Don't know how good the video is going to be because it's real tight underneath the charger, but let's get rolling. We need to get some work done. All right, guys, we're back. We run into some difficulty with the torsion bar welding in a brace. It's really ugly, and it's going to be fixed when it hopefully gets on the lift, but it's good enough intact where it's not going to go anywhere while we have the torsion bars in. Don't know so much about cranking on it, but I messed with it a little and it should stay in place. What we're going to do now is just end this one up for whatever video and episode we're on. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys stay tuned. Hope you guys leave me a like, subscribe, or a comment. We're going to get back on the charger. It's big for me, the suspension on this car, it finally being in the car. But we got a little few things we got to touch up. So we're going to get back in a different episode with whatever we're going to do next. I'm going to keep going and keep working at it. Hope you guys stay tuned, and let's catch you back on another episode. Have a good one, y'all.